I plunged the scissors into the heart of that ratty old blanket, the one I'd wrapped around my stillborn daughter like it could somehow bring her back to life, and watched as crimson-soaked scraps fluttered to the garage floor like confetti from hell. My mother-in-law's smug face flashed in my mind, Eleanor, with her pearl necklace and her fake southern drawl, stuffing into the trash bin like it was yesterday's takeout from Chick-fil-A. But those hidden letters? My husband's scrawled confession, inked in what looked like my baby's blood? They hit harder than the miscarriage itself, proving I'd carried the blame for a murder she orchestrated. It was a Tuesday in late August, the kind of sticky heat that clings to your skin in suburban Atlanta like a bad memory. I'd come home early from my shift at the hospital, ER nurse. 12 hours of stitching up gangbangers and wiping down fentanyl overdoses, to find the house unnaturally quiet. Our split-level ranch on Peachtree Corners Drive, with its white picket fence and the American flag drooping in the humidity, felt like a stage set for some Lifetime movie Betrayal. Ellie, that's what she insisted I call her. Like we were sorority sisters instead of oil and water, had been helping while I was at work. Helping. As if folding laundry could erase the ghost of little Ava, born silent 6 months ago. I heard the rustle first, from the garage. My sneakers squeaked on the linoleum as I pushed through the door, heart already pounding from the exhaustion. There she was, back turned, her blonde bob swaying as she crammed something lumpy into a hefty bag. The blanket. Ava's blanket. The one I'd sewn myself from a kit at Joann Fabrics. Pale blue fleece dotted with yellow ducks. It had been her swaddle, her shield during those endless ultrasounds where the techs lied through their teeth about everything looking perfect. "What the hell are you doing?" My voice cracked like a whip, sharper than I intended. Ellie froze, then turned slow, like a crocodile surfacing. Her lips curled into that practice smile, the one she flashed at PTA meetings and junior league brunches. "Oh, honey. Just decluttering. That thing's been gathering dust since. Well, you know. Time to move on, don't you think?" Grief's no excuse for hoarding. Hoarding? I lunged forward, yanking the bag from her manicured grip. The blanket tumbled out, smelling of mothballs and something metallic underneath. My fingers trembled as I clutched it to my chest, feeling the weight of all those sleepless nights. The nursery I'd painted butter yellow only to strip it bare. "This isn't yours to touch. Get out." She didn't budge. Instead, she straightened her cardigan, cashmere, from Nordstrom, and fixed me with those ice blue eyes, the same shade as my husband's when he lied about working late. "Sarah, darling, you're unraveling." Mark's worried sick. He called me this morning, said you've been talking to yourself again. About Ava. About accidents. Accidents. The words slithered out like venom. Because that's what they'd called it, an accident. The cord wrapped around her tiny neck during delivery, the monitors flatlining while I screamed for the on-call OB. I'd blamed myself for months, too much stress from the job, not enough prenatal yoga, whatever bullshit the therapists fed me at Grady Memorial. But Ellie? She'd swooped in like a vulture, arranging the funeral at that overpriced chapel in Buckhead, whispering to Mark that I needed rest. Rest. As if I could sleep with the echo of silence in the bassinet. I stormed inside, blanket balled under my arm, slamming the door so hard the framed wedding photo rattled, me in white lace, Mark in his navy ROTC tux, Ellie beaming like she'd birthed him herself. Upstairs in the guest room, our room now. Since Mark started crashing at the office, I locked the door and spread the blanket on the bed. It looked innocent, faded from washes, the ducks mocking me with their beady embroidered eyes. But something fell off. A stiffness in the seam, like it had been sewn shut in a hurry. My hands shook as I grabbed the sewing scissors from the nightstand. One snip, and the thread gave way. Out poured a cascade of yellowed papers, folded tight, edges crusted brown. Letters. Dozens of them, dated back 2 years. The first one I unfolded was from Mark, his blocky handwriting unmistakable. Ellie, it has to be done. Sarah's too fragile. The baby's not mine. DNA came back last week. We can't let this ruin everything. The pills, you said they'd look like a miscarriage. Just enough, too. Pills. Miscarriage. Not mine. The room spun, bile rising in my throat. I read on, each word a gut punch. Ellie had discovered Mark's affair with his paralegal, some yoga-toned blonde from the firm downtown. When the pregnancy test came back positive, it wasn't his. But instead of confessing, they'd plotted. Ellie, the queen of cover-ups, with her pharmacy connections from volunteering at the free clinic, sourced the misoprostol, slipped it into my chamomile tea during one of her spa days at the house. The accident in delivery? Just the cover for the induced bleed-out they'd timed for the OR chaos. I'd carried the guilt like a stone in my belly, even after she was gone. Therapy sessions at Emory, where I sobbed about my negligence. Mark holding me, murmuring it wasn't my fault, all while cashing his partnership bonus and eyeing that Beamer upgrade. And Ellie? She'd played the saint, baking casseroles from Publix, posting Bible verses about loss on her Facebook. God has a plan, she'd say, patting my hand with the one that poisoned it. Rage boiled up, hot and black, tasting like the sweet tea she'd forced on me that afternoon. I gathered the letters, stuffing them into a Ziploc from the kitchen drawer. Downstairs, Mark's truck rumbled into the driveway, F-150, jacked up on lift kits, his idea of compensating for something small. He walked in whistling, tie loosened, smelling of bourbon and that cheap cologne from the mall. Hey, babe. Ellie's car still here? She said she was dropping off dinner. I held up the bag, letters peeking out like accusing fingers. Ask her yourself. When she gets back from explaining why she tried to murder our daughter. His face drained of color. Adam's apple bobbing. Sarah, what are you? But I was already moving. Phone in hand, dialing 911. The operator's voice cut through the haze. Ma'am, can you repeat that? Murder?
Yes.
Murder. And this was just the beginning. The cops arrived in under 10 minutes, 2 burly guys from the Gwinnett County PD. Badges glinting under the porch light. Ellie pulled up right behind them, her Mercedes gleaming like a shark in the street lamp glow. Takeout bags from the varsity swinging from her arm. She played it cool. Of course. Officers, what's this about? My daughter-in-law's been under a lot of stress since the loss.
Loss.
There it was again. That sanitized word for the hole they'd carved in me. I shoved the letters forward, my voice steady now, honed from years of triaging trauma in the ER. Read them. Misoprostol overdose. Forged medical records. She poisoned me to hide his affair. The taller cop, Ramirez, his name tag, read. Scanned the pages, with a frown deepening by the line. Mark hovered in the doorway, hands up like he was surrendering to a DUI stop. This is crazy. Ellie wouldn't. Save it, I snapped. You wrote half of them. The baby's not mine. Ring any bells. Ellie's mask cracked then. Just a flicker, lips thinning, eyes darting to the azaleas like escape routes. But she recovered fast, channeling that debutante poise. Those are forgeries. Sarah's delusional. We've been worried about her mental health. Postpartum psychosis, it's a thing. You know. Postpartum. For a baby that never breathed. The audacity burned. Ramirez radioed for a detective, the kind who handled domestics gone south. While his partner separated us, me on the couch with a styrofoam cup of water that tasted like regret, them in the kitchen murmuring about warrants and labs. By midnight, Ellie was in cuffs, her pearls clacking against the cruiser door. Mark begged me to drop it, kneeling on the carpet like a penitent at confession. Babe, think of the family. The scandal. My practice. Your practice? I laughed, bitter as black coffee. You mean the one you cheated in? The one built on lying to juries about corporate greed? Go to hell. Mark. He left that night, tail between his legs, crashing at his buddy's lake house up in Lake Lanier. The house echoed empty, the blanket's remnants scattered like evidence in a cold case file. But as I sat there, staring at the letters under the harsh fluorescence, a new plan crystallized. Cops were slow. Justice a joke in a system clogged with opioid zombies and road rage shootings.
No.
This revenge would be mine. Personal. Surgical. The way I'd excise a tumor in the ore. First light. I was at the hospital, badge clipped, charting falsified notes on a phantom patient to cover my tracks.
Then,
the library downtown, poring over toxicology reports and GI databases via the public Wi-Fi. Ellie's pharmacy ties? She'd bragged about them once. Over mimosas at brunch, insider access to controlled scripts, favors from her friends at the FDA whistleblower hearings. If she'd poisoned me once, I'd return the favor. But not with pills. With truth. With exposure. By noon, I'd hacked her email, password, PearlGirl67, pathetically predictable. Jackpot. Threads with Mark about contingencies, photos of the blonde, even a draft while leaving me out in the cold. I forwarded it all to the detective. Anonymous tip from a burner app. But that was appetizer. The main course? Her precious reputation. The junior league throne she'd clawed for since marrying into old Georgia money. That evening, I drove to Ellie's McMansion in Alpharetta, the one with the fountain out front and the blessed doormat. She answered the door in silk pajamas, bail already posted by some silent partner.
Sarah.
Come to gloat. No, I said, stepping inside uninvited, the scent of Chanel No. 5 turning my stomach. To negotiate. Her laugh was a bark. Negotiate? You think you can blackmail me? I raised that boy. I own him. And you're just the help. I pulled out my phone, hitting play on a voice memo, her own words, recorded that day in the garage. Time to move on. Grief's no excuse. Juxtaposed with a clip from Mark's confessional ramble last night. Ellie did it for us. To protect the family. Her face paled. Where did you? Doesn't matter. I leaned in, close enough to see the Botox lines. Confess to the cops. Full story. Or this goes viral. Facebook. Next door. The AJC op-ed page. Atlanta matriarch poisons pregnant DIL. Imagine the headlines. She slapped me then, hard enough to split my lip. Copper flooded my mouth, tasting like victory.
You bitch.
You think you're the only one who suffered? Mark was my everything. That horse Spawn would have ruined him.
Spawn.
My Ava, reduced to a footnote in their soap opera. I wiped the blood, smiling through it. Confess. Or bleed. She didn't answer, just slammed the door. But I knew I'd hooked her. Driving back through the rain-slicked I-85, wipers slapping like applause. I felt alive for the first time since the ultrasound. Revenge wasn't a sprint, it was a marathon, laced with hemlock. The next morning broke gray and unforgiving. The kind of overcast that smothers Atlanta like a wet blanket. Ironic, given how mine had unraveled everything. I called in sick to the ER, citing a migraine. But really, it was the adrenaline crash. My body finally registering the war I'd declared. A coffee in hand, black. From the Keurig that Mark bought during one of his Let's Fix Us phases, I scrolled through the anonymous posts I'd seeded on Reddit's r/Atlanta and r/truecrime. Local MIL accused of inducing miscarriage, docs inside. Screenshots blurred for deniability. But the comments lit up like fireworks. WTF. This is Rosemary's Baby meets Real Housewives. If true, fry her ass. Sounds like the wife's unhinged. Classic scorned woman trope. Unhinged. That word stuck. A barb from years of Ellie's subtle digs at family Thanksgivings. Me. The Yankee nurse who'd snagged her golden boy after a blind date at a Braves tailgate. I'd moved south from Philly for love, trading cheesesteaks for sweet tea, only to find the hospitality was laced with arsenic.
But now?
The internet was my jury, and they were leaning guilty. Mark texted at 9:17 a.m. We need to talk. Coffee at Starbucks on Roswell Road? Please. I stared at the screen, thumb hovering. Part of me, the old Sarah, the one who'd forgiven his porn stash and his boys' nights that smelled like Victoria's Secret, wanted to hash it out, rebuild from the rubble. But the new me, she saw leverage.
Fine.
10 a.m., I replied, then blocked Ellie's number for good measure. As I dressed, jeans, a fitted tee from Old Navy, hair pulled back in a no-nonsense ponytail, I practiced my lines in mirror. Not accusations, questions. Make him squirm. Draw out the confession on tape. Starbucks buzzed with the morning rush. Soccer moms in Lululemon herding kids to iPads. Remote workers nursing lattes like for drips. Mark was in the corner booth, looking like he'd aged a decade, stubble shadowing his jaw. Eyes bloodshot from Lake House whiskey. He stood when he saw me, arms open for a hug. I sidestepped. Sarah. Sit. I slid into the seat, phone face down on the table. Recorder app live. The barista called out a name, something with oat milk, and the hiss of the steamer underscored the tension. He exhaled, running a hand through his hair. Look, I know about the letters. Ellie told me you found them. But it's not what you think. The affair. Yeah, I screwed up. But the pills? That was her idea. She said it was just to delay things. Buy time to figure out the paternity. Delay. As if Ava was a court filing he could postpone. Paternity you knew about for months, I said, voice level. You let me carry her.
Mark.
Felt her kick. Named her. And all the while, you were plotting with Mommy Dearest to off her. His face crumpled. I didn't know it'd go that far. Ellie said the dose was safe. Like an early termination. When you started bleeding. God. Sarah. I was at the hospital. Holding your hand. Thinking it was God's will or some shit. God's will. straight from Ellie's Baptist playbook, the one she'd shoved down his throat since he was in knee socks. I leaned forward, nails digging into my palms. You wrote the note. Can't let this ruin everything. What was everything, exactly? Your corner office? The boat deposit? Or just not having a brown-eyed reminder of your side piece? He flinched, glancing around like the pumpkin spice faithful might overhear. It was a mistake. All of it. I love you, Sarah. We can fix this. Divorce Ellie from the picture. Hell, I'll testify against her.
Just.
Don't throw us away. Love. The word hung there, sour as the burnt espresso grounds. I'd believed it once. On our honeymoon in Charleston, walking the Battery at sunset, his hand on my non-existent bump.
Now?
It was currency, and he was bargaining. Prove it, I said, sliding a napkin across. Write it down. Everything. Dates. Doses. The blonde's name. For the DA. His eyes widened. You're really doing this? Taking it to court? I smiled.
Cold. Oh, honey.
Court's too clean. This is personal. He scribbled while I sipped my Americano, the bitterness grounding me. When he finished, I pocketed the napkin.
Stood.
Thanks for the intel. See you in hell, Sarah. Wait, but I was gone, weaving through the line, the bell tinkling like a death knell. Back home, I digitized it all, letters, napkin, voice memos, uploading to an encrypted Dropbox only my lawyer cousin in Philly could access.
Then,
the real work, tailing Ellie. Her Mercedes was easy to spot, a land yacht among the Civics on GA 400. She hit the country club first, lunch with the ladies who lunched, tennis skirts and Botox, gossiping over Cobb salads about the latest trouble in Buckhead divorces. I parked across the lot, binoculars from an old birdwatching kit fogging in the humidity, snapping pics as she air-kissed cheeks, all while her ankle monitor blinked like a scarlet letter. By afternoon, she was at the pharmacy, her domain, the CVS where she'd volunteered for years, charming scripts out of hairy docs for her bridge club pill poppers. I waited in the shadows of the adjacent Publix, watching her slip behind the counter, chatting up the tech like old times. What was she after? More misoprostol? Or something deadlier? To silence me, my phone buzzed an unknown number. I answered, cautious. Hello. MS. Harper? Detective Ruiz. Gwinnett, PD. We processed those letters. Talk screen on the blanket scraps confirmed residue, mifepristone traces. Matches what you'd expect from RU 486 cocktail, mifepristone. The abortion pill's big brother. Confirmation hit like a freight train. And Ellie? She's lawyered up. Big firm from Midtown. Claiming coercion, mental duress. But your evidence is solid. Bail hearing tomorrow. You testifying? I hesitated, the revenge itch warring with the fear. Testify. And it'd be public. My grief splashed across the Fox 5 news crawl. Nurse alleges a Mael murder plot. But silence? That let her slither free.
Yeah.
I'll be there. Good. One more thing, your husband's on the list too. Accomplice. At minimum. You know where he's at. Lake Lanier. The address burned in my brain from his Facebook check-ins. Try the boathouse at Aqualand. He's hiding.
Click.
I hung up, pulse racing. Accomplice. Mark. In cuffs. his law license shredded. Part of me thrilled. The rest mourned the man I'd married, the one who'd proposed under fireworks at Centennial Park, promising forever. Dusk fell as I drove north, the lake's glassy surface mocking the storm in my chest. Lanier was party central on weekends, pontoon boats blasting Luke Bryan, jet skis carving wakes, but midweek, it was ghost town quiet, docks creaking in the breeze. I found his buddy's place easy. A ramshackle cabin with a dock lift and a fridge stocked with Natty Light. Mark was on the deck, beer in hand, staring at the water like it held answers. He didn't hear me approach until I was 10 feet away, my shadow long across the planks. "Sarah? Jesus. You scared me." "Good." I stopped, hands in pockets, the chill off the lake raising goosebumps. "Cops are coming for you." "Thought you should hear it from me." He set the bottle down.
Slow.
I figured. After the napkin. "Look. I deserve it. But Ellie, she's unhinged. Sarah. Always has been. Controlling. Since Dad died. The Navy? She pushed me into it. To make a man of me. The affair? Her idea. Said you were frigid after the wedding." Frigid. Another knife twist. Our sex life had tanked under the stress of fertility apps and failed IVFs. But I'd chalked it up to grief.
Now?
It was her script, directing the tragedy. "Doesn't excuse murder," I said.
No.
He stepped closer, eyes pleading. "But it explains. Let me help you end this. I know her secrets, offshore accounts. The real reason Dad's crash wasn't an accident.
Crash.
His father's small plane wreck, 5 years back, ruled mechanical failure. Ellie collected big. Bought the McMansion outright." "What are you saying?" "She tampered with the fuel line. He was leaving her. For a flight attendant. Same MO. Protect the empire." Empire. Ellie's word for her web of social climbs and stock tips. If true, it was serial, me just the latest victim. "Proof," I demanded. USB in my truck glove box. Emails. Manifests.
Take it.
Use it. I did. Snatching the keys from his belt. Retrieving the drive slick with lake mist. As I backed away, he grabbed my arm, gentle, but firm. "Don't become her."
Sarah.
Revenge. It eats you alive. Too late. It already had. A hunger gnawing since the flatline beep. I drove off into the night, USB burning a hole in my pocket, the lake's fog swallowing his silhouette. Tomorrow's hearing would be round one. But with this, it was checkmate. Courtroom 4C in the Gwinnett Justice Center smelled like stale plea deals and desperation, polished wood benches scarred from fidgeting defendants, the AC humming like a distant indictment. I arrived early, 8:15 a.m., nursing a vending machine Coke to steady my nerves. The gallery filled slow, a few reporters from the local patch. Mark's paralegal buddy looking queasy in the back row. And, surprise, Ellie's coven. The Junior League Harpies in pastel twin sets, whispering like they'd come for a book club scandal. Ruiz met me in the hall, clipboard in hand. "You're up first. Victim impact. Keep it tight. Judge hates drama."
Victim.
The label chafed. But I nodded, smoothing my blouse, thrifted and tailor. Professional but not flashy. No makeup. Let the bruises from her slap show. A purple bloom under my eye like war paint. The bailiff called order. And there she was, Eleanor Hargrove, perched at the defense table in Chanel tweed, hair shellacked, exuding the untouchable grace of a woman who'd lunch with senators. Her lawyer, a silver fox from King and Spalding, droned prelims, motions to suppress, chain of custody quibbles. Then, my turn. I approached the stand, Bible in hand, optional in secular Georgia. But I swore anyway, the leather cool against my palm. The judge, a no-nonsense black woman with salt and pepper braids, peered over her glasses. MS. Harper, state your statement. I cleared my throat, voice echoing off the flags. Your Honor, 6 months ago, I lost my daughter.
Ava.
34 weeks. The cord prolapse. They said. An accident.
Pause.
Let it land. Eyes on Ellie, who stared at her lap, manicured nails digging crescents into her thigh. But it wasn't. Eleanor Hargrove, my mother-in-law, slipped abortion drugs into my food to cover her son's infidelity. The blanket she threw away, it hid the proof. Letters. Confessions. She took my child to save face. Gasps rippled. Reporters scribbling. Coven shifting uncomfortably. The lawyer objected. Hearsay. Emotional manipulation. Sustained, but damage done. I pressed on, detailing the tea, the bleed, the gaslighting. She called it helping, decluttering grief. But it was erasure.
Of me.
Of Ava. The judge's gavel cracked. Bail remains. Conditions: no contact. Monitoring. Ellie shot me a look then, pure venom. Promising payback.
Outside.
Flashbulbs popped like gunfire. MS. Harper, any truth to the affair rumors? Will you seek custody of the estate? I pushed through, head down, until a hand clamped my shoulder. Mark, disheveled in khakis, reeking of Red Bull. Sarah, we need. I wheeled. Not here. Dragged him to the parking garage. Concrete echoing our steps. What? Come to beg again? Or confess Daddy's crash? His face blanched. You looked at the USB. Every byte. Fuel logs doctored. Emails to a mechanic buddy. She killed him.
Mark.
For insurance. For control. He sagged against a pillar. I suspected. Found the payout docs last year. Confronted her, said I'd go to the feds. That's why she pushed the Ava plan. Leverage. Keep quiet. Or your wife's next. Next. The word chilled. I'd been a pawn in her chess game. Queen sacrificed for the king, her precious boy. Why didn't you tell me? Fear. Simple.
Raw.
She's got dirt on everyone. The blonde? Paid off. NDA'd. My partners? She bankrolled the firm with Dad's money, laundered through her charities. Charities. The free clinic. The women's shelter fundraisers. Facades for her empire. Rage reignited. Then help me burn it down. He nodded.
Broken.
What do you need? Access. Her safe.
Codes.
Tonight. Risky. But the hearing had lit a fuse. By evening, we were at the McMansion, me in black yoga pants, him with the garage opener. Ellie was at a prayer vigil for her Facebook live, tearful pleas for healing amid false accusations. Hypocrite. Inside, it was museum still. Crystal vases, oil portraits of stern Hargrove ancestors glaring from the walls. Mark punched the office safe, 42-24-7. His birth date twisted.
Click.
Inside. Ledgers. Flash drives. A pearl-handled revolver that screamed Southern Gothic. Jackpot, I whispered, pocketing a drive labeled contingencies. Photos too, grainy shots of me at the grocery. License plates of my shifts. Stalking. Alarms blared sudden, silent. Tripped by the safe. Shit. Mark yanked me toward the French doors, but headlights swept the driveway. Ellie's coven. Dropping her off early. We bolted to the garden, azaleas scratching like claws. Vaulting the fence into the neighbor's yard, some tech bros pool. Lights off. Splashing through the shallow end to avoid motion sensors. We huddled behind the cabana, breaths ragged. Close, he panted. Too close. Sirens wailed distant. Maybe a wellness check. We slipped out the back gate, onto the quiet cul-de-sac, hearts hammering. At a Waffle House off Holcomb Bridge, over scattered hash browns, we poured over the hall. Ledgers showed siphoned funds, $200K to the blonde's relocation, payoffs to the OB who fudged the autopsy. The drive? Videos. Ellie, at a gala, boasting to a donor, "Darling, in this town, you bury secrets deeper than peaches in cobbler."
Peaches.
George's fruit, rotten at the core. Mark's hand covered mine. We expose it all. Together. Together. The word tempted. A lifeline in the wreckage. But trust? Shattered like the blanket seams. Dawn found me home. Drive plugged into my laptop. Files decrypted. Bank wires to offshore Cayman shells. Emails plotting Dad's crash. Brake fluid in the hydraulics. Untraceable. And me. Sarah's infertile anyway. Spare the boy. Infertile. The lie she'd spread, blaming my career stress for the difficult conception. I believed it. Endured the pokes and probes. Enough. I compiled a dossier, PDFs watermarked anonymous, emailing to the AJC tip line, the GBI fraud unit, even a podcaster I followed on true crime kicks. The Poison Peach, Atlanta's elite cover-up. By noon, it hit, headlines screaming, heiress linked to multiple deaths, miscarriage plot unravels family fortune. Ellie's face on every feed. Pearl's askew in mugshots recirculated. She called then, from a blocked number. You think this ends me? I have friends.
Sarah.
In high places. Your job?
Gone.
Your name? Mud. Try me, I said, hitting record. Ava's watching.
Click.
Her laugh echoed. Chilling. But the line went dead, permanently, when Ruiz texted, new evidence sealed her cell. No bail. Victory tasted sweet, like victory pie at a church social. But as Mark showed up on my doorstep, duffel in hand, let me stay, prove I'm yours, doubt crept. Was he redeemed? Or just another flip? Like his mother? That night, storms rolled in from the west, thunder rattling the windows like Judgment Day. I let him in, but slept with the revolver under my pillow. Trust was a luxury, survival. The game. The leaks spread like kudzu after a rain, choking every corner of Atlanta's digital underbelly by midweek. My inbox flooded. Interview requests from Dateline producers. Sympathy DMs from r/relationship survivors. Even a GoFundMe from strangers for Ava's justice. I ignored most, focusing on the real prize, Ellie's empire crumbling. Brick by Pearl Strand. Mark moved back in tentatively, sleeping on the couch with its sagging cushions from IKEA clearance. He cooked breakfast grits from a box, overcooked but earnest, mumbling apologies between bites. I canceled the boat. Donated the deposit to a women's shelter. Real one. Not Ellie's scam. I nodded, fork scraping the plate, watching him like a patient with a hidden bleed. Good start. But the USB's ghosts lingered, his emails signing off on the pills. For the greater good. Greater good? Whose work was a minefield. The ER buzzed with whispers, nurses in scrubs shooting glances. The charge doc pulling me aside post-shift. Sarah. Brass wants a word. Media's circling the hospital. Liability concerns. Concerns. Code for "you're toxic now." I faced the suits in the admin lounge, fluorescent buzz amplifying the tension. This personal matter won't affect patient care, I insisted. Resume mentally drafted, Piedmont, Emory, hell, even back to Philly General. The CEO, a balding suit with a Clemson ring, steepled his fingers. Appreciate the candor. But optics. Take admin leave.
Paid. Sort your
Situation. My life. Reduced to a PR headache. I left with a cardboard box, stethoscope, spare Crocs, a framed ultrasound pic I'd hidden in my locker. Ava's profile. Thumb at her lips. Outside. Rain pelted the lot, blurring the ambulances idling like beasts. Mark picked me up in his truck, wipers slapping. What now?
now.
We dig deeper. The revolver stayed in my purse, a cold comfort against the rear view's endless gray. Ellie's friends struck first, subtle, Southern-style sabotage. My credit card declined at Kroger. Statement showing phantom charges. Neiman Marcus sprees in my name. Identity theft. Ruiz confirmed. Traced to her offshore hack. Then, the calls. Hang-ups from Atlanta, 404 prefixes. Heavy breathers that escalated to voicemails, distorted voice. Blankets aren't the only thing we bury. Fear coiled. But so did fury. I countercirced, hitting her socials via sock puppets. Posted as concerned alpharetti mom. Heard Eleanor Hargrove's clinic volunteered scripts to minors. Peach poison. Screenshots from the ledgers. Redacted. The coven fractured. Old gal pals unfriending. A op-ed in the Constitution Journal. Elite philanthropy or poison ivy? She lawyered harder. Filing countersuits. Defamation. Harassment. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. Mark got served at work, his firm. The one she'd seated. Now distancing like a bad client. Suspension pending investigation. He told me over takeout lo mein from Golden Panda. Chopsticks trembling. Partners say it's conflict.
Conflict.
Understatement. That night, as thunder rumbled again, we made love for the first time since the bleed, tentative.
Urgent.
On the living room rug. His hands on my scars, whispering, "I'm sorry," like a mantra. I came with tears, hating how good it felt, how betrayal lingered in the afterglow. Morning brought the twist. A package on the porch. No return address. Brown paper. Taped tight. Inside. A baby blanket, identical blue ducks. But crisp.
New.
Tucked in the folds, a note in Ellie's looping script. Truce?
Meet me.
Neutral ground. Lenox Square. Noon. Come alone. Lenox. The mall where she'd dragged me for bridal registry, China patterns. Her lectures on wifely duties. Trap or olive branch. I went armed. Revolver in ankle holster. Pepper spray in pocket. Mark begged off. Too risky. Call Ruiz.
No.
This ends personal. Drove the Honda. Radio tuned to V103 for distraction. R&B's slow jams clashing with my pulse. She waited at the food court, Bloomingdale's bags at her feet like props. Thinner.
Gaunt.
The jail jumpsuit swapped for designer jeans. No pearls, just a simple cross necklace. Playing contrite. Sarah. She stood. Hug faint, I dodged.
Sit.
Iced tea, my treat. Talk.
She sighed.
Theatrical. I was wrong.
Horrified.
Reading the news. The crash, yes.
I.
Influenced. But Ava? Mark's idea. He came to me,
Panicked about the DNA.
said you'd never forgive. I thought medication would help you move on gently.
Gently.
The lie slimed out. You dosed me. Watched me hemorrhage. Regret. Her eyes welled, crocodile tears. But convincing. Drop the charges. I'll confess the crash. The funds. Give you the house.
Alimony.
Mark II. Fresh start. Fresh start. Tempting. The coward's out. No trial. No spectacle. Back to ER shifts. Playdates that never happened. But Ava's face flashed, silent. Accusing. Why? I pressed. Why not jail? Because your family. Hand out. Ringless now. Blood, spilled or not, binds. I stood, knocking the chair. Blood cries out.
Ellie.
Genesis 4 verse 10. Yours will too. Left her there. Bags untouched. The mall's cheer a farce. But in the lot, doubt gnawed. Was it mercy she offered? Or a noose? Ruiz called on route. GBI raided her accounts. Millions frozen. And your hubby's clean, cooperating fully.
Clean.
Mark. Vindicated. I pulled over. Sirens wailing past on 85. And wept for the lie I wanted to believe. Home. Mark waited with wine. Cheap $2 chuck. But chilled. How'd it go? She's folding. Half-truth. We toasted. Glasses clinking like fragile peace. But as he kissed my neck, I felt the revolver's weight in the drawer. Trust? A gamble. That weekend. The podcast a bit, a true crime queen with a Spotify deal. The Poison Blanket episode dropped Sunday night. My anonymous interview woven in, voice modulated, story stripped raw. Downloads spiked, sponsors bailing on Ellie's causes. The coven imploded, one gal. Tipsy on Chardonnay at a gala. Spilled to a reporter. Eleanor's always been two-faced. That clinic? Pill mill for her crowd. By Monday, indictments piled. Fraud. Manslaughter. Conspiracy. Ellie's photo cycled on CNN affiliates. Southern Belle behind bars. Mark got his job back.
Tentative.
We're free, he said, packing her old casserole dishes for Goodwill.
Free.
But freedom's price? My soul. Frayed at the edges. Nights. I dreamed of the blanket unfolding endless. Letters multiplying like sins.
Then.
The call, Ruiz. She's talking. Full confession. But wants a deal, names bigger fish. Politicians. Donors. You in for the plea.
Plea.
Controversial, light sentence for the web, she unravels. Right or wrong? The divide in my gut mirrored the nation's. Justice for Ava trended. But free Eleanor too. from her MAGA aunt's claiming deep state frame. I hung up, staring at the nursery door, still ajar, yellow paint peeling.
Decide.
Or be decided for. The plea hearing loomed like a guillotine drop, 2 weeks out. Calendar circled in red Sharpie on the fridge. A morbid countdown amid Mark's attempts at normalcy. He grilled chicken on the back deck, slathered in stubs, humming off-key to the Braves game on the radio, Chipper Jones reruns. Nostalgia for simpler strikes. This could be us, he said, flipping abreast, grease popping. Post-trial. Vaki to Tybee. No ghosts.
Ghosts.
Ava's. Ellie's. The marriages. I forced a smile, sipping Michelob Ultra. The fizz bitter.
Sure.
Beach reads and bonfires. But sleep evaded. Replaced by visions. Ellie's cross necklace snapping. Pearls scattering like teeth. I'd wake sweating, hand groping for the revolver. Mark's snores a reminder of the bed we shared uneasily. Work stayed on ice. Admin purgatory. Pending review. I filled days volunteering at a real shelter downtown. In the shadow of the dome, handing out diapers to teen moms with haunted eyes. Hearing echoes of my own silence. One girl, Jasmine, 17 and fierce, clutched my arm during intake. He said it'd fix us. The pills. Now my baby's gone too. Fix us. The universal lie. I hugged her, whispering, "It wasn't you." But who was I convincing? Mark's redemption arc accelerated. Therapy sessions at a Decatur group for enablers, AA meetings for the bourbon binges. He shared one night over vegan Thai from the food truck park, pad CEU tangled on his fork. Ellie groomed me. Men provide. Women endure. The affair? Rebellion. Stupid as hell. Rebellion. Against her. Or me. I probed. And the letters. Protect the family? Her words. In my mouth.
He met my eyes.
Steady. I choose us now.
Us.
The word warmed, thawing the frost. We made plans, IVF consults. A puppy from the pound. Maybe a move to Savannah for salt air and fresh starts. But Ellie simmered. Her deal a devil's bargain. Ruiz updated weekly. She's flipping on a state senator. Campaign funds laundered through her galas. Feds salivating. Controversial. The chatter online. Snitch for freedom? Sell out. Team Ellie surged in dark web forums, painting her victim of feminist witch hunts.
Me?
I wavered. Full trial meant dredging the bleed. Cross-exam tears. Ava's autopsy photos projected like horror reels. Plea? Catharsis diluted. Her bar's a country club cell with yoga mats. The decider came unannounced, a visit from the blonde. Tara. Her name from the files, yoga sculpted, blonde bob swinging as she knocked, holding a manila envelope like a white flag. MS. Harper, can we talk? Mark was at work. I let her in. Wary. Revolver in the side table drawer. Kitchen table. Coffee's poured, hers decaf. Mine spiked with Bailey's for steel. I'm sorry, she started, voice soft as cashmere. The affair. Mark was broken. Ellie isolated him. Post-dad. I was the escape. But the baby? I didn't know. Didn't know. Or didn't care. You took the payout. Sign the NDA. Guilt flushed her cheeks.
Fear.
She threatened my bar license, said I'd lose everything for enticing her son. Envelope slid across. Divorce docs. From Mark. He filed last week. Wants half the house. but I'll testify against her.
For you. Filed.
The word detonated. Mark. Plotting exit while we chose us. I scanned the papers. Irreconcilable differences. No fault Georgia style. His signature. Fresh ink. You knew, I whispered. She shook her head. Found out this morning.
Dropped by his office. He's
moving on. With the associate. Brunette. Brunette.
like me. Once.
The cycle. Spinning anew. Rage surged, but laced with pity for her. For the girl I'd been. Go, I said, crumpling the envelope. Before I changed my mind. Alone. I confronted him that evening. Doc slapped on the dash as he pulled in. Explain.
His face caved.
Sarah.
I.
The guilt. Therapy says start clean.
Clean.
Erasing me like the blanket. Get out. He packed silent. Duffel thumping downstairs. Truck roared off. Taillights fading into the dusk like a bad country song. Grief hit double. Betrayal squared. But sharper now. Honed by practice. I called Ruiz. No plea. Full trial. Let her rot. The machine churned. Depositions in sterile conference rooms. My testimony prepped with a pro bono ADA, sharp-suited. No bullshit Latina named Vega. Paint her villain, she coached. Not cartoon, real monster. Teeming, charming, deadly. Villain. Ellie embodied it at her arraignment. Via video from DeKalb County. Orange jumpsuit clashing with her poise. Voice steady, not guilty. This is persecution. Persecution. Her narrative. Spun to Fox News embeds. Devoted grandmother framed by unstable DIL. Clips went viral. Her base rallying prayer chains. GoFundMe for legal fees topping $50K. Counterpunch. My podcaster ally dropped episode 2, Threads of Deceit, featuring Tara's affidavit. Leaked ledgers. Listeners polarized. Sarah's hero versus vengeful harpy destroying lives.
Harpy.
The slur stung, but fueled. I hit the gym, CrossFit box in Norcross, pounding sandbags till knuckles bled. Sweat exorcising the weakness. Trial eve. Insomnia peaked. I drove to the cemetery, Westminster Hills. Ava's plot under a crepe myrtle. Headstone simple. Ava Harper. Beloved light. 2025. Moonlight silvered the grass. I spread a new blanket. Pink. No ducks, whispering promises. Mommy's fighting.
For you.
Dawn broke humid. Court date etched in nerves. Dressed in navy sheath. Borrowed from Jasmine at the shelter, I entered the fray. Gallery packed. Reporters. Coven's remnants glaring. Mark absent. His seat a void. Vega open strong. Ladies and gentlemen. This isn't tragedy, it's treachery. Eleanor Hargrove didn't lose a grandchild. She erased one. Ellie's defense. A mother's desperate act. Born of love. Love. The lie that divided the room. Murmurs of sympathy. Hisses of disgust. My turn on the stand. Lights hot. Questions probing. How did it feel? Learning the truth. Like dying twice, I said. Voice cracking. First Ava. Then my family. Cross-exam sliced. Obsessive? Stalking misses. Hargrove's home. Retrieving evidence, I countered. From the woman who stalked my pregnancy. Jury leaned in. Faces a mosaic, black matriarch nodding. White exec frowning. No clear side, The controversy simmered. Recess brought Vega's whisper. They're torn. Your call on the revolver. Admit the threat.
Threat.
The bluff at Lennox.
Admit.
Humanize my rage?
Deny.
Play saint? I chose truth. I wanted her to feel it. The fear. But I didn't pull the trigger. Vega smiled. Perfect. Divides hero or vigilante? Vigilante. The word thrilled.
Dark.
As court adjourned for lunch, Waffle House hash browns in a side room, I felt the tide shift. But Ellie's eyes across the aisle? They promised storm. Jury selection bled into week 1. A parade of biases unveiled like strip poker with souls. Teacher excused for mom empathy. Retiree bounced for law and order lean. The box settled. 7 women. 5 men. Mirror of America's divide. Blue-collar hands.
College polish.
Faces etched with preconceptions. Vega called it balanced poison. No slam dunk, but winnable if we struck nerves. Ellie's strategy emerged. Dismantle me. Day 2. Her silver fox paraded character witnesses, pastor from her megachurch, swearing her soul of gold, neighbor attesting, Eleanor's the glue of our block watches.
Glue.
Sticky with blood. Then, the expert, shrinks in tweed, diagnosing my delusional disorder from unresolved loss. Slides projected, my therapy notes subpoenaed, scribbles of self-blame twisted to paranoid fixation. MS. Harper fabricated the plot, he intoned. Projection of guilt.
Guilt.
Mine. Weaponized. I gripped the rail during recess. Knuckles white. Vega patting my back.
Breathe.
Our tox guys next. Irrefutable. Irrefutable. The blanket fibers. Lab confirmed mifepristone. Timestamps matching my chamomile logs. But controversy brewed. Defense leaked to blogs. Nurse's vendetta. Abortion pill or allergy med mix-up? Mix-up. Gaslighting 2.0. Online. It fractured. Pro-life contingents decrying, murder cover. Feminists cheering, repro justice. Trolls dubbing me blanket psycho. Marks surfaced midweek. Cornering me in the courthouse John. Men's room, echo chamber. Urinals dripping. Sarah.
Stop this.
She's offering full payout. House. $500K. Walk away. Walk. As if feet worked post-amputation. You filed. Now beg. Self-preservation. His eyes darted. But I love.
Out.
I shoved past, shoulder-checking the door, emerging to flashbulbs. No comment. Home was sanctuary. Sorta. Jasmine crashing on the couch. Her baby girl cooing in a playpen. A living rebuke to silence. You're badass, she said, passing a joint CBD. Legal now. Owning your story.
Story.
Mine. Twisted in headlines.
Nights.
We binge true crime, making a murder marathons, laughing bitter at systemic fails. If they free her, Jazz mused, we riot. Riot. The fantasy tempted. Molotov in mind. But law was my arena. Week 2 ramped. The USB videos played. Ellie's gala boasts booming through speakers. Barry's secrets deep. Jury winced. One juror. A young black dad. Nodded slow. But defense countered with Mark on stand, subpoenaed. Sweating in his best Brooks Brothers. Mr. Harper. Did your mother coerce the plan? He licked lips.
No.
Joint decision. Regret. But not her alone. Alone. Betrayal bisected. Vega crossfired. You wrote Ellie said it'd look like miscarriage. Accomplice? Guilty, he muttered. Head down. Gallery gasped. I felt nothing numb. The scar tissue thick. Ellie testified Friday. Spectacle in orange silk blouse. Jail chic. Poise cracked under Vega. Why the blanket hide? Protect Mark. Family first. Family like your husband? Tampered plain. Objection sustained. But seed planted. Doubt sprouting. Cross. Tears flowed. Sarah was unstable. Postpartum rages. I feared for Mark. Rages. Fabricated. But Jury's eyes flickered. Sympathy? The divide widened. Whispers in the hall. Poor old lady versus Croc tears. Weekend storm stalled everything. Power flickering over bad cable. Dateline specials looping my face. Mark emailed. Testifying killed me. Forgive.
Delete.
Forgiveness? A luxury for the unscathed. Monday. Closing arguments. Vega painted apocalypse. Hargrove's web and snares innocence. Cut it. Defense. Tragic error. Not malice. Mercy for a grandmother's folly.
Mercy.
The word hung.
Polarizing.
Jury deliberated Tuesday. Sequestered in a motel off 316. Pizza deliveries. Card games. Fractures forming per leaked juror notes online. I waited at home. Jazz braiding my hair. Protective style. Warrior plates. Whatever. You're freer.
Freer. Truth.
Win or lose. Chains loosened. Verdict Wednesday. 2 p.m. Courtroom packed. AC straining. Bailiff. On count of manslaughter. Guilty.
Gasps.
Conspiracy guilty. Cheers. Stifled. But sentencing deferred. Deal sweetened. 15 to life. Eligible parole in 7. For naming the senator. Controversy exploded. Slap on wrist. Protests outside. MAGA counter-rallies with witch hunt signs. I stood. Vega hugging fierce. You did it.
Did it.
Ava avenged.
Sorta.
But as Ellie was let out, handcuffs clinking, she turned. This isn't over.
Sarah.
Blood calls to blood.
Chill.
Outside. Mark waited, rain slicked. Hopeful. Proud of you. Proud. I walked past. Into the downpour.
Clean.
But over?
No.
The revolver stayed loaded. Nights watchful. Revenge's aftertaste. Ash. Lingering. Parole whispers started 6 months post-sentencing. A murmur in the system's bowels. Ellie's silver fox lawyering appeals. Citing new evidence. A prison shrink's report deeming her reformed. Bible study certificates stacked like poker chips. George's board. Politicized as a tailgate brawl. Leaned lenient for model inmates, especially those with donor uncles in the governor's golf foursome. I tracked it obsessively. Alerts pinging on my phone, now upgraded to a pixel. Courtesy the settlement. House retitled in my name. $300K wired after Mark's amicable divorce finalized. He'd vanished to Chattanooga. Some boutique firm defending DUIs. Last Facebook post a fishing pic with new beginnings. Beginnings. I'd unfollowed. But the sting faded to scar. Life stitched forward. Back at the gear. Nights shift. Adrenaline my new normal, intubating ODs. Stitching knife wounds from 5 points brawls. Jasmine roomed permanent. Her girl toddling now. Chubby fists grabbing my scrubs. Auntie Suwa. Auntie. The title healed. A proxy pulse. But Ellie loomed. Shadowboxing. Letters arrived, prison stationery, Her script defiant. I pray for you.
Daughter.
Forgiveness is divine.
Divine.
I burn them in the sink. Zippo flame dancing. Smoke curling like accusations. The board hearing hit summer swelter. July 2028, 3 years served. Good behavior, shaving time. I flew to Atlanta solo. Jasmine minding the Philly apartment we'd relocated to, fresh start. Cheese steaks reclaimed. Courthouse again. But victims gallery this time. Vega beside. Speak your fire. They owe Ava. I did. Microphone hot. Board stony. 7 suits. Mix of reformers and hardliners. She didn't just take my daughter, I said. Voice steady as a scalpel. She dismantled lives. Mine. My ex's. Her husband's. Parole now? It mocks justice. Says women like her connected. Contrite on cue. Walk free while the rest bury secrets. Murmurs. A bleeding heart type leaned in. Rehab success rate high. Restitution paid.
Paid.
The $300K. Blood money. Money doesn't breathe, I countered. Ava doesn't. They denied 4-3. Razor split. Headlines crowed. DL's plea keeps MIL caged. Controversy flared anew. Op-eds decrying. Vindictive matriarchy. Ellie's base funding appeals. But cage held. Bars iron. Relief short-lived. Fall brought the twist. Anonymous email. Subject the real blanket. Attachment. Scanned of a letter. Mark's hand. Dated post-trial. Ellie, Sarah's pushing too hard. The revolver? She threatened me too. Finish it. From inside. Finish it. Complicity.
Encore.
Heart hammered, Mark. Flipping again? Or forgery? Her last ploy? I forwarded to Vega. Who looped feds. Tamper attempt. Could reopen conspiracy. But proof elusive. IP traced to a prison smuggler. Burner laptop. Doubt festered. I drove to Chattanooga, unannounced. His new dig's a sterile condo off the Riverwalk. Riverfront views mocking the murk. He answered in gym shorts. Surprise morphing to wariness. Sarah? What? This. I thrust the printout. Yours. He scanned.
Paled. No. Swear. But.
She called. Collect. Last month. Said you were unraveling. Begged me recant. Recant. The snake's tongue. And hung up. He stepped aside. Come in. Explain. Inside. Minimalist. Blonde associate's yoga mat by the door. We sat on leather, unyielding, coffee black. She's desperate, he said. Parole denial hit hard. Isolation. Started the visions, claiming Ava speaks to her. Visions. Delusional now?
Poetic.
Believable. He shrugged. Ellie's always been actress. But the letter? Not my slant. I believed, gut check passed. But trust? Shattered mosaic. Why warn me? Because I owe you. Eyes soft. More than alimony.
Oh.
Currency exhausted. I left with a nod. The river's rush a roar in my ears. Back north. Paranoia peaked. Locks changed. Ring cams installed. Revolver bedside. Now a Sig Sauer. Upgraded at a Philly range. Winter deepened the divide. Podcast Season 3 dropped. Blanket's Shadow. Interviews with ex-coven. Eleanor manipulated us all. Scripts 4 Stress. Code for uppers. Sponsors boomed. I guessed it anonymous. Voice warped. Revenge? It's justice with teeth.
Teeth.
Mind bared in dreams. Ellie cornered. Scissors flashing. Wake sweating. Jaws consoling with hot cocoa. Swiss Miss. Marshmallows melting like mercy. Spring 2029. Appeal granted. New hearing. Board stacked new appointee. Soft on elder rehab. Vega prepped war. Character refs. Impact stats. Miscarriage survivors suicides spiked poster type. Her type. Elite exempt. I testified fiercer. Parole her. You endorse erasure. Of women. Children. Truth. Denial again 5-2.
But the two?
Dissenters citing disproportionate vengeance. Vengeance. The accusations stuck. Mirror mocking. Vigilante or victim. Ellie's response. Smuggled note. Via a ministry pen pal. You win this round. But God's plan unfolds. Watch your back. Threat or scripture. Chills regardless. I ramp security. Pepper classes with jazz. Concealed carry permit. Our shifts blurred into vigilance. Every shadow a suspect. Summer scorched. Anniversary of the cut-open blanket, July 10th. I marked it ritual, Philly cheesesteak at Pat's. Then the grave, via video call. Ava's stone weathered. 2 years free. Baby. But she's still caged.
Caged.
Until the break. October. Ruiz retired call. Ellie's sick. Cancer. Stage 4. Hospice track.
Sick.
Karma's scalpel. Parole push. Compassion release. Board fast tracks terminals. Terminal. The word twisted, pity warring with poison. Release her to die free? Or rot in regret? Debate raged internal. Mercy for the monster. Or justice unyielding. Online. It mirrored, petitions both ways. Die in peace versus die in chains. I visited then Impulse. Vega advising against. DeKalb facility. Sterile as my older. Ellie in a gown. For dripping morphine. Cheeks hollowed. Cross necklace dull. Sarah. Weak smile. Come to gloat. No, chair scraped. To end it. Her laugh rasped. Too late. Met spread lungs. Liver. 6 months. Doc says. Months. Ava's gestation.
Confess. All.
Eyes gleamed. Fever bright. Already did. To the padre.
But you.
The revolver? I know you kept it.
Kept. Stalker to the end.
For protection. From shadows. Hand extended. Skeletal. Forgive. For Ava.
Ava.
The name cracked me. Why? Blood. Whisper. Yours now. I left. Handprint ghosting my skin. Outside. Autumn leaves swirled like confetti. Celebration or funeral. Board voted release. Unanimous. Humanity. Controversy peaked. Protests at the gates. My face on CNN. The woman who wouldn't forgive. Wouldn't. Choice or curse. Ellie died Thanksgiving. Hospice bed. Family none. Mark's text. She asked for you. Ignored. I cooked turkey with jazz. Girl on hip. Toasting to survivors. Survivors.
Us.
But the twist lingered. Her last letter. Mailed posthumous, lawyer handled. Inside. A blanket swatch.
Pink.
With a note. Ava's turn. Protect her from you.
From me.
The doubt seeded. Was I the villain? Vengeance's mirror. Reflecting her? The letter's poison seeped slow. A toxin in the veins of my so-called victory. Ellie gone. But her echo mocking from the grave. That pink swatch pinned to my corkboard like a voodoo talisman. Holidays blurred. Christmas with Jazz's kin in North Philly row houses. Lights twinkling on artificial trees. Her girl unwrapping Barbies while I faked cheer over eggnog. Andy so was sad. The toddler list. Pudgy hand on my knee.
Sad?
Or hollowed. The revenge a husk? I smiled. Tickling. Just missing my duckies. Duckies. The blankets motif. Haunting. New Year's. I smashed the cig at a range, bullets punching paper targets. Therapy in recoil. Enough, I muttered. Casing the gun for good. Protection? Or paranoia's crutch? Spring thawed the ice. Promotion at Jefferson Hospital. Charge nurse. Overseeing the chaos with a steadier hand. Patients nicknamed me Iron Sarah for the common codes. But Jazz knew. You're steel. Girl. Forged in that peach fire. Forged. Atlanta faded to memory. Save the scars, uterine. Psychic. IVF loomed. Consults with white-coated optimists promising viable paths. But doubt dogged. Could I carry without her shadow? Mark resurfaced May. Email tentative. Heard about the promo.
Proud.
Coffee? Neutral. DC.
DC.
Midway. Symbolic. I agreed. Curiosity the bait. Metro diner near the mall. Tourist shuffling past, his face older. Lines etched like bad judgments. You look good, he said. Stirring black. Life suits.
Suits.
His. Rumpled. Mine. Scrubs fresh. Cut the fluff. Why? Closure.
Pause.
Ellie's estate settled. Your share, wait.
No.
Ava's. Trust fund. Untouched. Untouched. The sum staggered. 1.2 mil. From her charity's unwind, victims' restitution. Ironic. For a family. Yours. Eyes soft. Or whatever phoenix you build. Phoenix. From ashes of our pyre. I signed the papers. Pen scratching finality. Thanks. But know us. Know us. Echo.
Sad.
He walked me to the reflecting pool. Lincoln Memorial looming. Emancipation irony. I was wrong. Always. Known. But the hate?
Dissolved.
Neutral as pond water. Back Philly. The check cleared, invested smart. Vanguard Index. Slow growth for a ghost's legacy. Jazz pushed. Surrogate? Adopt? Make Ava proud.
Proud.
The mantra. Summer. We fostered twin boys. From a crack house bust. Eyes wide at freedom. Miss Sawa, they'd whisper bedtime. Curling into new blankets. Duck-free. Dinosaur print.
Miss.
Not mom.
Yet.
But seed planted. Fall brought the debates crescendo. True crime docuseries. Netflix bidding war. Blanket blood, they titled. My interview the hook, face blurred. Voice raw. Was it justice? Or did I become her vindictive? Unyielding. Became her. The question polarized streams. 4.7 stars. Reviews raging. Empowering takedown versus toxic revenge porn. No winners. Forums fractured. Sarah Saint or Ellie victim. Endless threads dissecting the gray.
Gray.
Truth's shade. I watched the premiere alone. Wine glass trembling, reenactments chilling. Actors aping my rage. Ellie's poise. End credits rolled twist. Archival audio. Her deathbed confessional. Smuggled. I did it for love.
Twisted.
But love. Forgive her not. I made her. Made her. The villain's gift. Absolution or damnation. Debates sparked dinners with Jazz. You broke the cycle, she insisted. Boys asleep upstairs. Broke? Or perpetuated? The mirror lied now, eyes softer. But haunted. Winter quieted. Snow blanketing the city, like forgiveness. New Year's Eve. I burned the swatch, flame devouring pink. Ashes swirled out the window to the schoolgirl. Resolution live. Not for ghosts. But the breathing, Jazz's girls starting kindergarten. Twins calling Mama Sawa unprompted. IVF needle pricking hope. But the final twist? Spring mail. Package. Lawyer stamped. Inside. A locket. Ellie's cross. Engraved bloodbinds. Note. Mark script. Found in her things. For Ava. Or you. Peace.
Peace.
I clasped it. Cool against skin, binding. Not choking. Trial's end? No tidy bow. Happy? In fragments, family forged. Career cresting. Tragic? The whole. Eternal. Controversial? Always readers. Viewers. Me. Divided on the scales. Yet, as cherry blossoms bloomed along the parkway, I walked with the twins, hands small in mine, and whispered to the wind, we won, baby. Messy, but won. The blanket? Donated. To the shelter. For new mothers. Wrapping fresh starts. No more cutting open. Just living, stitched whole.